Is China preparing for war, or is this just mind games, showing off, or even saving face? This is The Record. Since Wheels Up in Taiwan, China's military has been busy. They have conducted live fire drills and even practiced surrounding Taiwan. This communist military show comes as Speaker Pelosi makes one last stop in Taiwan to see Taiwan's president. Pelosi tweeting about her meeting, writing, "Our delegation had the distinct privilege of meeting with the president of Taiwan today. We discussed how America and Taiwan can deepen our economic ties, further strengthen our security partnership, and defend our shared democratic values." A Russian lawmaker says the Kremlin will support China if it decides to go to war with Taiwan. But there's one catch. Russia will only help China if China helps Russia in Ukraine. That Russian senator added that it may be difficult for China to face the U.S. alone without Russia's aid. This comes as Russia is asking for more military support from China in the Ukraine war. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chair Bob Menendez is urging the U.S. to take clear steps in defense of Taiwan. The New Jersey Democrat outlined his plans in the New York Times. Menendez says the U.S. should pass a bipartisan bill that he and Senator Lindsey Graham worked on. He said, quote, "Our legislation would reinforce the security of Taiwan by providing almost $4.5 billion in security assistance over the next 4 years and recognizing Taiwan as a major non-NATO ally, a powerful designation to facilitate closer military and security ties." The White House National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications, Admiral John Kirby, joins me. Nice to see you, Admiral.
Good to be here with you.
It's been a long time, sir.
It has indeed.
Okay, so let me go right to Speaker Pelosi. When she went over there and she was laying, were you worried? I mean, the Chinese said that first they're going to send some flares, and they said they're going to have some maneuvers, and if that didn't stop them, they're going to shoot her down. Was the White House worried?
Well, we were certainly taking with all seriousness the rhetoric and the threats that the Chinese were making in advance of her trip, a trip which hadn't been announced or set in stone until the Speaker decided herself that it was going to happen. So yes, we were taking that seriously and watching it, monitoring it. And on Monday, we came out and publicly said, here's what we expect the Chinese will probably do. And we laid it out, that they might do exercises, that they might fly aircraft in or around or even over the median line in the Taiwan Strait, that they might take economic measures. And those things have come to pass. Now, the trip is over, and they have announced that they're going to do some exercises over the next few days. So we'll watch and see how that unfolds.
Okay, peel back the curtain for me. I mean, were you concerned enough that people in the Situation Room actually watching the plane land, or at the Pentagon watching the plane land and watching it take off again today?
No, I mean there
wasn't that much.
We weren't watching it in real time, if you will. That said, of course, she was flying on a military aircraft, so the United States military knew exactly where she was at every moment.
So you're ready in case something happened.
Well, we always make sure that when the Speaker travels, particularly overseas, that she can do so in a safe and secure way. And we said that we were going to do that for this trip as well.
All right. So how do we de-escalate things right now in that area? Because China, for all intents and purposes, President Xi has been a little bit humiliated because he had all these threatening words for her that this wasn't going to happen, and lo and behold, it did happen, and successfully she gets out of there.
Well, we've been very clear in our communications with the Chinese, including our ambassador Nick Burns, who met with his interlocutors over there in Beijing, that there's no need for this to ramp up. There's no need to escalate the tensions. Her trip was completely in keeping with and consistent with our one China policy and our support to Taiwan. So we've tried to make it clear privately and publicly that we don't want to see tensions escalate. We're not going to saber rattle. There's really no reason for them to use the trip as a pretext for some sort of military action, or even these potentially, or could be potentially, fairly aggressive military exercises.
But even, I mean, at least I would say, if I were President Xi, I'd be a little bit humiliated and embarrassed after my tough words.
I guess our point, Greta, is that
I mean, I know no, of course we don't want it. We don't need it to be. But I'm just, I always worry about the other guy.
Well, of course, and look, we've taken seriously the threats that they've made, and of course, she's still on this trip. We still have to make sure that she gets home safe and sound. But we're going to stay vigilant. We're going to monitor this. We have security commitments in the region. 5 of our 7 treaty alliances are there. We have a sizable military capability in the Indo-Pacific, but there's no reason for it to come to blows. We don't want it to end up that way.
All right, Afghan, big success this week. Al-Zawahri is gone. What is the proof that we actually killed him?
We have evidence, including visual evidence, as well as from other streams and sources that give us high confidence that he was, in fact, the individual that we targeted and that he is, in fact, dead.
You know, back when we got bin Laden, that we had someone helping us on the ground, Dr. al-Fredi. We sort of left him behind. He was identified. I suspect that we had help here, but that we don't identify for security reasons.
I'd rather not get into the intelligence streams and how we developed this over the last several months. There were no U.S. personnel on the ground and involved in this strike. It was an airstrike by unmanned aerial vehicles, but the work that led to that was meticulous, painstaking intelligence work over the last several months.
Right. HIMARS is military equipment that we have given or sold to Ukraine to fight Russia. I think there have been 16. Recently, someone in the Ukrainian defense, I think even the defense secretary there, said they need 100. And if he had 100, that they could push Russia out of the eastern part of Ukraine. Is that true? Do we need to give them more?
Well, we are. In fact, we've committed 20, and that's just from the United States. Great Britain and Germany have also provided or committed to provide their versions of the HIMARS. Stands for High Mobility Advanced Rocket System, and it will allow and is allowing the Ukrainians to strike deeper behind Russian lines. It gives them greater distance and range, which is what they need in this fight in the Donbass, particularly, which is sort of flat farmland, and it lends itself well to what we call long-range fires. And these HIMARS are being very effective, and we're continuing to provide. In fact, just last week we announced more ammunition to it. So we're working with the Ukrainians in real time, and we'll see where this goes.
Would more though help and move it faster and have more muscle? Or is it that we don't have them, we can't sell them, or we make a strategic decision not to give them more at this time?
Well, I don't want to talk about our inventory, but we're doing the best we can to provide them with as much capability as possible. HIMARS has gotten a lot of attention now, but it's not at all the only thing that we're providing them as they continue to prosecute or to continue to defend themselves. But we also have to be mindful of the training that's required on some of these systems. The Ukrainian soldiers don't know how to use HIMARS, so you have to take some out of the fight to get them trained for it. That's one thing. Two, you don't want to overwhelm their system with so much stuff that they can't absorb it all. They're in the middle of a fight. So honestly, we're talking to them every day sort of evaluating what their needs are and doing the best we can to meet them. I would add one more thing, because it gets lost in this. It's not just the United States, Greta. Some 50 nations have now joined with us to coordinate security assistance to Ukraine. Not all of them are giving high technology systems, but all are doing something. It's really an international effort.
Iran is close to, at least we read, close to a nuclear weapon. And I know that the talks have stalled. Should we expect that Iran will have this nuclear weapon?
The president has been very clear. We will not allow Iran to have and possess a nuclear weapon.
What does that mean?
We will not allow them to have a nuclear weapon. Their breakout time is shorter now because the previous administration pulled out of the deal, so they weren't under any constraints, and they've moved that program forward now to a much shorter distance in time, much shorter time frame. But the president believes strongly that diplomacy is the best path to preventing them from having a nuclear weapon. We still want them to sign on to this deal. The negotiations are basically complete. It's really just for Iran to go ahead and approve this deal so we can move forward.
I suspect Israel won't let them have one as well.
The president, I can only speak for the president of the United States.
I understand.
We will not allow them to have a nuclear. No problem in the Middle East gets easier to solve if Iran has a nuclear weapon. There's plenty of problems already, and we want to avoid that one being added to the mix.
Admiral, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you come back, sir.
Anytime, Greta.
White House is closed.
Yes, it is.
Indeed.
Anytime.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Hey, guys, it's Rob Carson. With inflation at its highest level in 40 years and interest rates skyrocketing, your retirement plans are in danger. Well, our friends at American Hartford Gold can help show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Yeah. If you call them right now, they have a special offer. They will give you a free gold coin on your first qualifying order. So don't wait. Call now. Here's the number, 866-935-4309. That's 866-935-4309, or text Newsmax to 65532. That's Newsmax to 65532. Thank you.